Most people think living on the road is about saving money, but in March, I proved how fast that can change as I pushed my Rivian R1T and my NuCamp T B 320S camper through 13 states while traveling over 3,000 miles. I actually went 1,200 miles out of my way to scout the Gulf Coast as a potential winter home for next year, all while keeping a non-negotiable deadline to be back in Michigan for the birth of my second grandson. By the time I hit the border, my routine was shattered and my gear was being tested. I walked into this month expecting to spend $2,500 just to make the trip happen, but the final numbers tell a much different story. Hey everyone, I'm Jeremy, but you can call me Deuce, and welcome to Deuce Roams. That cross-country push wasn't just a race against the clock. After leaving the New Mexico desert, I pushed through the heart of the South all the way to the Gulf Coast to see if this lifestyle is sustainable out east. Today, I'm breaking down the highest spending month of my year so far and how I managed to stay on track for my $24,000 annual target despite the chaos of the road. The first category, as always, is food and groceries. For food and groceries in the month of March, I hit $639.61. That is $73 more than the month of February, mostly because I was moving so much. When my camper's hitched up to my truck, accessing my truck fridge is impossible, and then my camper fridge also started acting up after I defrosted it, so I leaned heavily on grab-and-go meals, and I even tried Whataburger for the very first time. It was pretty good. But it wasn't all convenience stops. In Florida, I had grouper fish, and it was so delicious. I would honestly head back to Florida again just to eat some more grouper. Mississippi surprises you like that. But the real heavyweight of the month was transportation. $957.94 is what I spend on transportation for the month of March, and that is 100% charging costs to cross through 13 states over 3,000 miles. That works out to be $555 more than the month of February and $740 more than I spent in January. That is a massive jump, but it was the price of admission for the scouting adventure that I was on. The next category is connectivity. Per usual, connectivity was $165. That hasn't changed since January, as Starlink is the one thing that stays consistent no matter where I park the rig. I did debate downgrading or pausing my plan, but I ultimately decided against it as I do use a ton of data every month. As a matter of fact, I checked, I think in January I hit 800 gigabyte, and I've never gone below 300 gigabyte in the last year. So I know I rely heavily on the data. Now walking into health and wellness. Health and wellness came in at $159.09. I had to pay out of pocket for an atorvastatin prescription refill because my Nevada insurance doesn't cover me when I'm outside the state of Nevada unless there's an emergency. It's one of those logistic nomadic hurdles that I'm actually working to solve very soon. Now going into subscriptions. Subscriptions hit $177.91, which is the highest of the year so far. And honestly, I fell a bit into a trap. I went to cancel Peacock and they offered me an annual deal for $29 for the entire year. Then add in Paramount and HBO Max so I wouldn't miss a single March Madness basketball game, and the total definitely crept up. Now we're talking about camping. For camping in the month of March, I spent $218.06. Now this was my first month with any spend at all in this category. Out east, the free public land disappears, so I mixed paid camping sites at parks throughout South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and even Dillon State Park in Ohio, while also lot docking at Walmarts, casinos, and even Cabela's to keep the journey moving. Now getting into miscellaneous. Miscellaneous expense was actually my lowest category this month, coming in at $72.10. That's over $180 less than I spent in February. And it was just the basic everyday essentials. Now, for the grand total. My total for March was $2,389.71, which brings my running total for 2026 for the first 3 months of the year to $5,529.64. Now, I've been debating some major rig upgrades lately, but I want to make sure that I land somewhere near my $24,000 goal for the year, so I'm holding off for now. But I tell you what, it's really been a struggle. March was a test of the budget, but it brought me 13 states of memories and a clear answer on where I want to spend my winters. And looking ahead, April is going to look completely different, guys. I'm mostly going to be staying put, mooch docking in Michigan, and handling a major shift in my life behind the scenes that changes the future of this journey. If you found this video helpful, be sure to subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And as always, remember to roam free, explore more, and keep spreading those good vibes, guys. Peace.